crazy. It is super CQB, and Saniva is a difference maker in that position. Not a lot of Sanivas have been played. We'll see if anybody decides to go for that strategy. It is time for Space City, a maximum of 2 more maps, but Taylor says this is going to be the last one. Are you correct, Taylor? We will see. Like he has said, chat, let us know what you think. Is it going to go to 5? Is it going to go to 6? All I know is going to be a dang good time. Let's jump into Space City and see where the teams are at. Cryo Spawns, AKA, and STS. Going to be first to the brick, but Gold Silver moving aggressively out of command building.
Incredibly aggressive, but I think Gold Silver's already fired some shots over into the side of AKA, who takes a little bit of damage, and they're going to go for the full flank. But watch out, Gold Silver. Be careful here. You're only focused on AKA, but you also have FL, the team that you're desperately trying to catch up to, who might flank you.
This is so funny about this is Taylor was telling them to sprint at their opponents, and now he's telling them to be careful. They are getting aggressive, and Jan goes down. A difference maker for AKA. They had Cryo spawn. They're getting killed before they can barely even move out of the spawn, as Gold Silver listened to our call and got insanely aggressive off rip. Finnel not pushing him for the 3rd yet, but Jan in deep trouble as he is full out, and AKA is pushing up towards the brick. They said, we'll come back for you, Jan. We can't take this fight right now.
Not at all. AKA, man, they got to recover. They need a big game. They are at the very bottom. This could very well be it. We take a look at our operators. What do we see?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're seeing AKA. They've already burned their Tempest. They're using Aluru now when they need it most. This is going to be a huge boon for them, or it would have been. That's Jan running Aluru, so they don't have Aluru anymore. All they have is Stinger and Luna. Anybody that plays pubs knows that's the classic combo, but in sweaty competitions like this, it's going to be super helpful for smoke and runs. It's going to be super helpful for information gathering, sure, and keeping each other up. But without Aluru, they don't have what they need to hold down this brick position. On the other side, we see another Tempest there from E-Hit on STS. Q9, pretty traditional. Now we're seeing some Lunas across the board. And again, hey, my prediction's finally right. Everybody's using Luna. We're running out of operators, and obviously a huge value out across the board in terms of the extra information you can gain on a Mantle-Brick round in Space City.
Well, this is the most active we've seen Space City so far. Granted, only the second one we've seen in the entirety of the Delta Force Invitational, but right now for total assets, you got to take a look at it, guys. And GS, Gold Silver, they need at least 4 million to hop up into top 3. They could technically challenge FL off the rip and maybe take them down, but their focus now is dead center. STS, AKA. This is going to be a bloodbath. The Mandel Brick is about to be underway, and the question is, who wants to strike first? I wouldn't want to be the first one to go out there with how hotly contested it's going to be.
You got to pick your play style, man. You got to.
Because call me out. What do you want from me?
No, I love it. You're making great calls, and you're like, hey, I need people to play aggressive, and now you're like, no, we got to play strategic.
Passive, strategic.
Hey, that is the way that operations is played, man. You are right on the money with that. Sometimes you've got to know when to play aggressive and when to play slow, and everything you say is correct. I just love ribbing you for
I know you do.
These moments, but I agree.
It'd be weird if you didn't.
It is really difficult to try to decide when to go, and I think that's why recon operators are so helpful. You got to have the information. Now, STS trying to make the first move, E-Hit on Tempest, could maybe use the Tempest kit to help out here. Could go grab the brick and then back off. With Tempest's equipment, you could basically go in and then dive roll, of course, and then you could also retract yourself back, tactical retreat, back to the position you were a couple seconds before. Not a bad play, actually. But no one moving for the brick yet. It looks like Gold Silver maybe actually going to be first. Looking at the mini-map, STS just kind of hiding in the corner, waiting, playing patient here. Again, like you said, maybe not wanting to be the first to move, playing around the decoding station. Gold Silver could be the team that's picking it up first.
Yeah, I mean, they did this in scrims, right? They were one of the teams that we highlighted off-stream, obviously, for going for the Mandel Brick first and then trying to get out. The question is, where do you go? I mean, like, you're genuinely surrounded. I think at this point, again, I do like aggression. But this is a time where you really do have to slow it down. There's too many variables around you. I mean, again, STS, got AKA with 2 members themselves. I think if you touch that Mandel Brick, you're going to be cooked. And let's not forget, Fallen isn't too far away either. Like, Fallen can also get active. And I like the way Fallen and Q9 are both playing this. Like, they don't have any worries in the world. They're already smooth sailing straight into the upper bracket, most likely, unless something absolutely crazy happens over this map and the next. But Fallen does want to move in, and Fallen does want to try and potentially get active onto this fight. Let's not forget, they're already in second place. I mean, any elimination they get is going to be 400K going to them, and it's going to put them in a much healthier spot to locking in the upper bracket run.
That's a good shout. Now, I will mention something. We don't see this often. AKA has elected to let Jan full die. And I say let, I mean, they were likely knew that that body was going to be near irrecoverable. It was wide out in the open. There was not much they could do about it. And so Jan is full out. AKA, with potentially the last map, a chance to make upper bracket, are going to be playing with 2. This team is known to be one that can battle back against adversity. They went through the blender in the regional finals for North America, but they did come out on top, and we're a team that were able to make it here today, obviously, but not without trouble. And a chance to do it again, this time with 2. Jan has been a hero in the past, but Articuno, 60MG, they're all individually insanely talented. And I wonder what their comms are like right now, what they're feeling. They have a decent position on the map right now around the brick, but still no one is pushing for the center of the map, not yet.
Fallen, though, is maybe tempting fate. They do start to move in themselves.
That's a good shout.
I mean, you have 4 out of the 6 teams all surrounding the Mandel Brick. Currently, the only ones who aren't at the moment is going to be Finnell, as well as Q9 up ahead. And yeah, like you said, here we go. I mean, I'm shocked it is going to be Fallen. Granted, I mean, they have the lowest risk. If they go for it and they get wiped, they're still in a great spot, so they can afford to do this.
Yeah, and this is what Fallen does best, man. They play for the brick, and they don't get the prio spawn, but because everybody else is playing slow, this is the value of Stinger in the late game, too. Being able to throw that drone, that smoke all the way down the line. You're protecting both sides of the brick. Grab it and run. They're able to get it, and they are running for the hills right now, trying to figure out where they go from here. Now, I will say this is a pretty interesting point. I'm not going to call their strategy yet because it's not 100% certain. But what I think they're doing is something we have seen in the regional qualifiers. You got to remember, 4 brick rounds. Top 3 make it to upper bracket. If no one gets the mantle brick this turn, nobody is able to decode it, then they assuredly make upper bracket because they're one of the teams with the brick.
Right.
And so I'm wondering if they're just trying to stall with this torch timer for no one to get the break. Now, based on their position on the map, we're seeing on the map feed, I don't think they're doing that. I think they're just trying to route to frankly, a decoding station we don't oftentimes see in competitive. Instead of dormitory, I think they're going up to the north side of Passage. This is a weird one. I've seen it once in our Western Regional Finals. It is wide out in the open, less of an alley or a hallway, and more of an open space that's going to be tough to hold.
Especially given the fact that Q9 is going to be up there waiting and they're already taking priority. I don't know if it's a sixth sense. Maybe they got additional information that we don't know about, but they are setting up perfectly to cut off the team of Fallen. Now, the thing is, though, both of these teams can win and close it out in 5, which now puts the pressure even higher for AKA, STS, Gold, Silver, who are all in this deadlock position, dead center of this, the current map. Especially for Gold, Silver, like they are in dire straits. But this is going to be an interesting one with FN versus Q9. They have now spotted. Actually, I do wonder if FN has actually information that Q9 is there because Q9 is rotating around. Q9 is about to put FN in a pincer position. This could be bad for this FN roster.
Yeah, here we go. We'll see what information has been had. Here comes the Allure Rocket. They've got info now. I think K1D is thinking he might be able to scan out a view. I mean, there's a lot of boons with Allure. One of the things with this kit is his personal missile that he can shoot out. Obviously, a big recon availability, but hey, as much as I was talking about a strategy where, hey, if nobody gets the brick, we're good to go, Fallen says, what if we just win, coach? How about you shut up? And I'm going to start decoding, and we're going to go for the win. Obviously spotted at this point. Here goes Q9. First to the tally. Everybody else knows that it's either Fallen or Q9 on the decoding station. What they don't know is that it's both of them.
But this could be valuable, like let's say they do, STS, any of the teams right outside of the top 3, or even FL, for example, if they want to get active, they played it relatively slow, albeit they do start to move up towards central, up top left, and might even take the fight over towards FN. That could be big for them, but this is a valuable opportunity as far as I'm concerned to maybe third-party this engagement between FN and Q9. But in the meantime, though, again, like map 4 could very well end, or map 5, excuse me, could end right here and now, because you got both of the top level rosters who are encompassing the current Mandel Brick, and nobody else from the center of the fight, right? When they were surrounding the Mandel Brick where it originally was, nobody's moved.
Yeah, well, I mean, they know that everybody's holding sight lines there. We've got plenty of time on the clock. They don't have to yet. But an interesting point, and I'm glad you called him out and we're able to see him on screen. You're right. Finnell is coming through Central Command on the north side. We see Fallen. They've planted the brick. Timer ticking, and they've elected to hold on the north side of this decoding station. up where basically you exit from Central Command. You guys all know what I'm talking about. The eastern exit of Central Command, hugging the northern side of this map. Here's the trap that Fallen has set. They're out in the sands, holding these rocks. The decoding station's on the other side of that wall by the truck. There are definitely some headies in there. There's definitely some holes that you can put in there, but you're pretty open for a pinch. Yep. And so they've elected to play the northern side. It kind of slams up on these rocks. HR playing the most northern, and they know basically the main positions they need to hold. Obviously, look down. They know there's a team over in printing, which is going to be Q9, and then they got to have eyes on that Central Command exit. And technically, the building is blocking, but for any team to come into the mix, you're going to have an angle.
What everybody needs right now, of course, listening to Fallen about what they're saying.
Нет, наоборот, пускай будет. Смоки кинут, я даю ревил. Да.
A whole lot of nothing.
Nothing indeed.
There's nothing there, so they didn't have anything to say. They're just waiting.
But what I was going to say before the listen is like FN, so two scenarios. Most likely right now, we're going to see FL go in, challenge FN. Once that happens, I think Q9 is going to take the opportunity, once they hear the shots ringing out, to go and touch the Mandel break and then start decoding it for themselves. That's what both teams are waiting on, but the trap is set. Uvishka is ready to mow some players down.
Yeah, here we go. They push out because they have to. Fennel in trouble. They come swinging out with a Viren, and it doesn't matter. They lose one in transition, and all of a sudden, we got to pay attention to that clock. Here's the thing to remember. We've got players moving to this point. They've got to play for it. They can't end here. Q9 doesn't have to play at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
If FN win right now, Q9 make it to upper bracket. They don't care about the ego. They're going to let this go off. They said, oh, sounds good to us. We'll take our spot in the upper bracket. It all comes down to STS, who's moving on the south side, and also Fennel on the north side. Player advantage, of course, on the side of FN. But they've got to be paying attention to this brick. It's going to be stolen here shortly if they're not careful.
Nobody's there to stop down. Nobody's there to shut down STS. I think STS is going to be free and clear to go up and get the touch within the 15-second mark. They're going to do exactly that unless Q9 is able to fire out. Flareage, though, might be getting a bit of a sixth sense.
Here we go.
Sees STS moving up. 8 seconds remaining. He pushes it out. One of the members from STS is going to fall. That's going to be E-Hit is down. Just seconds away. Will this be it? Yes, it will. And Fallen will get the second Mandelbrick. They will win their respective match A and take it over Q9 in surprising fashion.
Unbelievable. Flares with a perfect hold. Again, this is the northern side of the map. This is the northern look over. There's only one angle, and Flares spotted him perfectly. They take down E-Hit, and all of a sudden, there's nobody that can contest it. And now Q9 said, well, we made it to upper bracket. Let's just kill whoever we can find an angle on.
That's right.
Fallen's down to 2 as they do get picked off from distance. All right, we got to all take a collective breath because, yes, Fallen has won this match. Fallen are the champions of Group A. Q9 will be going with them, no questions asked. But Taylor, your prediction of 5 games is correct. But the next question I have for you is who's going to be spot 3? This fight is completely inconsequential. Fallen versus Q9 doesn't matter, but Q9's going to say, hey, look, guys, I just want you to know, we let you get that brick, and we're going to wipe that team and loot up to make sure that they can showcase to the world that we are the best team. We just also know how to play the game. The new question is who plays for Bubble, who gets third?
That's right. Great point. You got Fennel. Fennel, who's currently trying to hold on to what they got, but Gold Silver, out of nowhere, has managed to jump up. I believe, yes, they will in fact be in third place, as you can see, but just barely. They cannot be happy with where they're currently at, and exactly that, because look, you've got FL who manages to jump up. So Gold Silver is going to be desperately trying to loot as much as they possibly can. FL is going to be doing exactly that. The next 5 minutes are going to be so critical for STS. STS getting active themselves. I don't know, can they jump up the top 3? Maybe.
It's super important. This is not important for Q9, but it's massive for STS. Q9 gets to pick and choose the battles that they want to take. Who do they want to spoil? What team do they not want to see in the upper bracket? And maybe it's STS. STS finding 400K for a kill, but they're just getting started in this fight. That is now a 2v2. This is incredibly important for STS and is completely inconsequential for Q9.
That's it. Q9, they can play spoiler in a big way, taking on STS, forcing them to stay at the bottom of the food chain. But for STS, if they can take this moment and own it, who knows? how far they can go up. Only 5 minutes remain. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. STS, get active, play it smart, but of course, start to push up. Take the bull by the horn, baby. You need this.
Yeah, hey, while this 2v2 is going on, it's probably a fight that will take a little while. Off screen, what you're not seeing is that Gold Silver is what I like to call kind of hedging their bets. They're basically saying, hey, there is 4.5 minutes on the clock. We're focused on extracting. The other teams that are close to our kill total or our total value, the other teams close to third, I don't think are going to get out of the map. We're prio getting out of the map. They've already sent one out of the map. The other two members of Gold Silver, while this fight's taking place, are all the way down at the rocket extract, just hanging out. They want to get out of the map. We'll continue to keep our eyes on this fight while off screen, AKA and FL are about to engage each other around that extraction point that has about 60 seconds outside of Test Workshop around that bridge.
Oh my gosh, this could be massive. AKA lost a player very early on. We pointed that out. They've got to go at it as a duo, but this could be the fight to determine the top 3 run. If FL loses this engagement, if it does end up popping off, they are done and dusted. They most likely drop down. Gold Silver will move up. But then again, it opens up the opportunity for AKA themselves to also push up into top 3. A lot of variables still at play. We still have 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining.
Yeah, we've got to move to the AKA fight. This is insanely important, and namely because it's on a 20-second timer for that extraction point. Here's a look at it. This is the fight that will determine who gets third most likely. If one of these teams is able to wipe the others and get out, they will likely jump to third. And I guess that kind of, that gray duck off in the distance is Gold Silver with their plan of just extracting. STS and Q9 fighting on screen, but a fight over the extraction here shortly. Here comes the move. We see a member of both members, all 4 get out. On screen a fight, but 2 members of FL, 2 members of AKA, they all sprint for the extraction. They don't kill each other, and they all get out. And Gold Silver on the rocket extract is gonna get out while this fight's going down. E-hit has been res. STS now knows they need to kill Q9. They need this loot value, and they need the 400K per kill. They have to win this team fight, and they technically have an advantage.
K1DE loves to stand his ground. He loves to do it. Mo is going to be gone. E-hit takes him out. K1DE looking to play the ultimate spoiler. STS wins this fight. They jump up in the top 3. K1DE, all 3 members ahead, but he falls. STS wins the fight that was needed.
STS get 1.2 mil wiping Q9. A huge value add. The scoreboard on the left-hand side is not final. We do not see necessarily GS taking third. We don't see necessarily STS taking fourth. FL and AKA get out with 2 members apiece. If STS does not get out of this map, they could fall out of the top 3. And that leaderboard on the left-hand side does not calculate kills. It does not calculate the round compensations. There's still a lot of map to be done. But FL and AKA said, I think we had enough loot. We got to get out of this map. That is all that matters. While STS took the aggressive stance and said, let us get the kills and stash our safe
They're tied. Like you said, kills, they haven't counted yet. They are tied at the moment.
GS is all going to get out as well. I think this is a great strategy from Gold Silver. They're going to get all 3 players out of the map. The only team that will do that. There they go. Gold Silver has made it out of the map. Representing APAC, coming from Taiwan. I am so curious to know how this leaderboard will shake up. We can almost ignore it on the left-hand side now. It is anybody's game, and like I said, it's going to be razor-thin margins. And who knows, over the next 60 seconds, STS stacking these safe boxes could also be the difference maker. This is true operations. We see all the kit in the caboodle.
But think about STS's run. If they do secure top 3 goes, and the fashion that they did it, from the bottom all the way to the top, to top 3, to go to upper bracket in that fashion would be such a heck of a way to start our Delta Force Invitational, and a chance is here, a chance to do it. You look at AKA, you look at FL, they've already fallen down. Now the question is, would it be Gold Silver? Will it be STS? That's the question on everybody's mind. To go from the bottom to the top would be tremendous. We've already had Q9 dethroned. FN takes the win in the respective match with 2 Mandel bricks. How many more upsets, how many more surprises can we really get?
Whew, a lot of math behind the scenes. It's all done via the in-game UI. Man, I love this tournament server. This is so dang cool. But folks, that is it for Group A. That is it for Space City. Our games are done, and our teams either wiped, didn't get out, or fully extracted. It is anybody's game for a round in a position 3 on the leaderboard. Anybody's game for the 3rd slot to the upper bracket, but it is all Fallen and all Q9 in the Mantle Brick category. Fallen able to get the 2nd brick. Q9 said, yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for doing that. We will take our spot and then wipe you. Yeah. Fallen and Q9 were the top teams going into Group A, and the top 2 teams leaving Group A. Unbelievable job from both of these 2 trios. Phenomenal work in all of the categories when it comes to operations.
Yes, we watched scrims yesterday. I was expecting to come in today with Q9 dominating. We ended 4. Maybe it's done and dusted. No, today brought everything. And it's only the start. We still have our next match to get into, match B. We still have the upper bracket. But the question on everybody's mind, STS, did they do enough to go from 6th place going into the final map of match A, which was map 5, Space City? Did they do enough to go up to top 3? I don't know. The math has to be tallied, and I do not envy the position of the tournament admins at this moment.
Well, the best part is that the admins just sit back and let the tournament server do the work. It does all of that for them. So they're going to double check everything for sure, which is the work I definitely don't envy. It was insane. Here's a quick look at the round 5 results. Of course, Fallen, they actually walk away with nothing. I mean, dead 0 on the map, which means they didn't put anything of value into their safe box throughout the course of that because they were focused on the brick. But the Mantle Brick's all you need. They get first. They are the top seed coming out of Group A because of it. They were able to pick up 1 kill. Gold Silver picks up a kill as well, and they looted 3.63 million. That was the difference maker. Gold Silver makes it to upper bracket because of the loot they found on the map and prioing extracted.
That's right. AKA damage once again pretty low. It was low in the last round. Well, this is the thing. Like AKA, they're getting finished off a little bit earlier than they wanted. I think that's the big thing, right? But they are giving it an attempt. We look at our best team. Naturally, it has to be Fallen and Flare Rich. For me, Flare Rich, I don't know. HR, Uzbishka, like first off, HR, Uzbishka both had match MVPs, so you got to give them credit's due. But Flare Rich, also the guy that multiple times was taking the fight to Q9, anybody else, and well, here we go. We've got K1DE, rightly so. This man was picking up where Mo was leaving off.
Yeah, I mean, picked up a lot, obviously a couple kills here and assists and a ton of damage, so it was really helping out his team, making sure this is probably on the back of the wipe that came onto Fallen after the brick was decoded. So a nice round MVP there for K1DE. A fantastic rep from everybody, of course, from Q9 and Fallen to be able to be the teams with the bricks, but they also had the loot value and they also had the kills across the day-to-day. Really impressed with both of these rosters in particular. But the match MVP, let's talk about it. I mean, who else, folks at home? Who else, people in the stadium? Everybody, even the competitors would say Mo. Let's talk about some of these stats. Obviously, they didn't actually get out of the map that often. Only 20% of the time on our 5 maps. That's once. They only actually got out 1 time. But looking at these stats, a crazy KD, 2nd in the lobby. Combat rating is all of our stats.